Isaiah, 19 points, you led the scoring tonight, but you had 7 different players with at least 8 points in this game. So what does it say about this team that, so many of these players can contribute, every single game?
That's big time. That's kind of what we pride ourselves in, our depth, and we really just we need that every night from multiple guys, and those are the best teams that can have multiple guys that can score and can do a lot of things on the court.
Troy, I know you started every game this year, but when you look at the bench you guys have, top 10 in the country in bench points per game. So what does that do for you as a starter?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we know we're a deep team. I feel like we've known that since the summer, going back and forth, going at it. Everybody's been fighting. And as far as being starters and just knowing in the back of your mind, if we're not on our best game or shots aren't falling, you can always count on them to come in and do their jobs, which they've done tremendously so far.
Isaiah, what's it been like to play with Connor so far? Another 8-assist game, leads the Big East in assists per game.
He's a great player. He brings a lot of energy. He's going to be ready to work every single day. And that's kind of, we got a whole team of guys like that. Like, you look at David Skogman. Tonight he only played 16 minutes, but he took 4 shots. And he'd like to score, but his mentality didn't change. He's like, that's what you need from senior leadership. Mentality didn't change, and he played the same way as he plays every night. Just a hard player.
Guys, it seemed like NJ Benson was kind of one of the stars of the game today. What's it been like playing with him as the season's gone on and how he's kind of progressed?
Yeah, I mean, NJ's been tremendous. Obviously, some games he hasn't maybe got the minutes he's wanted, but he's always stayed ready. He's gone hard in practice. And, I mean, today the results showed.
Isaiah, earlier I believe in the second half, you went down a little bit after a tough defensive shot. Did that really impact you towards did that impact you for the rest of the second half at all, or was it just like same old, same old?
Nah, same. Everything's good.
Yeah, because I was a little worried when we were on the broadcast.
Nah, everything all good, all's well.
Today's an old man.
Brand new hips, man. Just.
What's going on, guys? You guys shoot about 69% from the free throw line on the season. Today, shooting 68.4. My question to you, Troy, in the second half, I noticed you got to the line a lot more. Can you talk about the importance of that, even when shooting at a low percentage? Not necessarily you, but as a team as a whole, what's the importance of being consistent with getting there? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, free throws are one of the most important shots in basketball. Besides layups, I think free throws are the most valued shot in basketball. So we know that we can get better at our free throws. We know that after the first game we played, and I think we've done a good job getting better at that, but we need to continue to keep getting better at it.
Sure. Troy, with you shot about 3 for 4 from the three-point line, 75%. Can you talk about what it feels like to get in the zone as far as finding your consistency from behind the arc?
We all just put a lot of work in our game, and with the coaches, and it just feels good when it pays off. We got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball, and that's kind of one of our strengths.
And my last question, this goes for the both of you. So, again, with your bench unit averaging around 37 again, can you talk about the importance of being able to gel between the bench and the starters? Of course, that's self-explanatory because you are as a team. But when you see your bench doing as well as you guys are, how do you, develop that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's huge, especially when we get later into the season, deeper into the season, get into conference play. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to get into foul trouble, and so I think that'll come into play even more. But I mean, like we've mentioned before, I think the bench has been tremendous, and every night they came ready.
Isaiah, for you, obviously you mentioned you got some new hips, but as a result, you didn't really have much of an offseason, and Holtmann even mentioned that earlier on in the season to us. How have you kind of felt your confidence has grown and getting used to just being able to move more out there?
I say it's still weekly, day to day. It's ups and downs, and just trying to stay consistent mentally is probably the biggest thing, and know that I put in the work, and the results will come.
Anything else for you guys? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Look at that crew right there. Man.
All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach and then open it up to questions.
All right, give Valpo credit. I thought they really did some good things today and made us make some adjustments that, I give Roger and his team credit for that because I thought they were physical and were able to do some things. particularly with their spacing and their ability to drive us and touch the paint. So I thought our guys adjusted and made a lot of really good plays. And all in all, a good effort from our group, and time to move forward here and get better here.
Coach, you guys had a season-high 8 blocks in this game. Can you just talk about the defensive end today and kind of the presence inside you guys had?
You know, I thought defensively, I think probably what we did the best was we were able to adjust to some game plan things that we had in potentially, and then we thought we might needed to make some adjustments. I thought that was good. They got us in transition early. I thought once we were able to keep them in the half court, we were better, but give them credit for getting us in transition.
I know we talked about it before with the bench points. Kind of seemed like the bench came in and they sparked that 18-2 run early in the first half. So just talk about the importance of having that group of guys there.
Well, it's going to be really critical for us. I think we've talked about that in previous games, right? I think this group is going to need a lift from the bench. I mentioned there, David Skogman, one of our best players, didn't play. He only played 17 minutes, but, man, he had a great approach, great attitude. Why? Because he's a really good player and he's really mature, and it's a great example for other guys because other guys came in and stepped up when he was out, and I thought that was really good to see, that example of a kid who is going to play a major role in this year's team. So our bench is critical for us, and I think it's good to see guys step up.
Coach, wanted to ask about early in games when you guys don't start the game firing. How do you keep the shooters loose while still running up the score?
Say that again. Question.
So when you guys don't necessarily start the game firing either from deep or inside, how do you keep the shooters loose while still running up the score and keeping in the game?
Tell them to keep shooting open shots. Really evaluate through practice, through our first 2 months of practice, 3 months of practice, what's a great shot versus what's a good shot. They need to take great shots, and they can't pass up great shots, So we just try to tell them, hey, listen, if it's a great look, you need to keep shooting.
And then in the limited minutes Chris has been playing throughout the season, he's kind of impressed a lot of us, I would say, and that block he had towards the end kind of made a statement. What have you liked from him so far, and do you intend to play him a little bit as Big East play rolls around?
Well, guys will get, kind of what they earn in this whole, that's always been the case, and we've got some depth there at the wing. Chris is a great kid, and I think he's got some real potential here for us as he continues to grow, and I was really proud of seeing him play as hard as he played in those last couple minutes.
I asked you a question earlier in the season about how you acclimate Chris Riddle to this style of offense in college ball. How do you acclimate Teo, because he came over from Eurobasket and he's been slowly integrated into the lineup? We've seen him play 3 or 4 minutes the last couple games against Mercer and Duquesne. How do you integrate a guy who's played basketball overseas to a different style of play here?
Ironically, he's playing probably more similar in our system. He played in a very similar system in Europe. Europe plays 4 around 1. They play with great spacing. A guy like him needs to catch and shoot or move it and, play out of closeouts. So he really, that kind of helped him, I think, in a lot of ways, that adjustment. And he's a little bit of an older kid. So that adjustment has not been too challenging for him, but he's got to keep learning, too, each day in practice.
Hey, Coach. Brian Guzman out of Radio DePaul Sports and Entertainment. You had spoken a bit earlier about adjustments, and I wanted to question is what goes into making a correct judgment within the game as far as adjusting to what the other team is doing, right? My favorite quote is, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
You guys didn't necessarily get punched. You did a lot of the punching today.
Yeah.
But with some of the stuff that happened early on, how do you make a good decision as far as...
No, that's a great Tyson quote, and Mike Tyson quote, and it's so true. It's so true in competitive sports. Everybody does have a plan, and then you got to adjust. I think for us, we kind of had a number. If the big kid was going to make a certain number of threes in the first half, then we were going to have to adjust our coverage. So we kind of had a number in our head, and he hit that number in the first half, so that made us adjust a little bit. And that's where you got to be able to do that as coaches and teams. I think we've got a smart enough group that can do that. It was good to see us execute that defensively today.
Coach, Texas Tech next. Just how excited are you to get that first, true road test this season?
I think that's needed for our group right now. I really do. We play a lot of games, including the exhibition and then even a scrimmage at home. So we really need to go play somebody else on another another venue, and obviously I'm kind of partial to, these high major versus high major teams, playing in home events. Next year, we're playing in a tournament around Thanksgiving that'll be a lot of fun, where it'll be a neutral floor. I can't say anything or else Peter will get mad at me here, but that'll be a fun event. But I like the idea of being able to go and play a true road environment. It's going to be a great environment. They're a tremendous team. They're really well coached. It's going to be a great opportunity and a great environment and a great opportunity for us to get better.
Coach, not necessarily a basketball question, but yesterday the social media team earlier in the week posted something about what some of the guys were going to have on the Thanksgiving plate.
Yeah.
So what does Coach Holtmann have on his Thanksgiving Day plate?
I love turkey, dark meat. I love turkey. I'm a big turkey guy. My daughter's laughing at me, but I love turkey. I've said that, right? Okay. I love gravy, and an ample, pouring of gravy is important on the turkey. My mother-in-law makes an incredible pumpkin pie, so I'm a big pumpkin pie guy. That's phenomenal. That was great. All of it. The entire pie was good last night. And I do like stuffing. Yeah, I do like stuffing, and it doesn't have to be special. So my wife did a great job with the Thanksgiving prep yesterday. Thank you for asking that. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Any other questions? All right, thank you guys.
Okay. Josh, you got a question?